Our next session is called Agile is the New Black. Why preparing for post-quantum crypto also matters to you. And I would love to welcome our speaker, Dr. Nguyen, Managing Director of Trust GmbH.
Okay, hello everybody. Thanks for taking your time, and welcome to the wonderful world of crypto. So you may wonder, why on earth is Bundesdruckerei giving a talk on crypto? Are they not only printing? They are printing stuff, and they are printing more stuff than ever, in fact. But ID business, of course, is already for many years also a digital security business, and so of course Bundesdruckerei is also covering large parts of the digital security of the German ID system and other things. And I'm the managing director of Trust, which is a subsidiary of Bundesdruckerei. It's a trust service provider, so we do all the PKI stuff, both for the German system, but also for other things. And yeah, I'm trying to convey a bad message to you today. So crypto is at stake, and I'm trying to explain a little bit why this probably also matters to you. And this is, of course, a link to not orange, but Agile is the new black. So sometimes some dramatic stuff can happen in your life, and then you suddenly have to deal with dramatic new circumstances. And this is not only what happens in this series in many seasons, but it's also going to happen to you. So this is, in a brief overview, what I'm going to talk about. I'm introducing quantum computers and stuff, and of course, you can probably deal your whole life with quantum mechanics, not understand a thing. So it's going to be a very brief introduction, of course. And I'm going to try to explain what is the relevance of this to the classical cryptography that we probably know, or at least are using every day. And then I'm going to try to explain how post-quantum crypto is going to hopefully help us evade some of the calamities that we are facing. And then finally, the question is, what is the right way forward, and what are we going to do? Well, maybe first thing, I think cryptographers have reached at least one thing. Crypto is everywhere, and probably no one is really aware of that. So whenever you open up an app, when you go to a website, you're using crypto, and it's actually quite advanced crypto, in fact. Crypto is in a lot of stuff you buy. It's, of course, in official ID documents, but it's part of, I would say, almost every device that you handle, but you're not really aware of that. And it's probably good, because crypto is a niche thing, but it does matter, because a lot of the security of the infrastructure that we are handling, also the economical infrastructure, is also based on crypto. So what's the problem here? The problem is something like this. This is one of the first quantum computers. So what are quantum computers? Well, you know the classical computer notion. It's a machine that can work on binary input. And binary means it's black or white. It's 1 or 0. And you can form data out of this 1 and 0 stuff, and you can make computations on it. Yeah? So it's like a large calculator, much more sophisticated, but in the end, you put something in, you turn a wheel, and something comes out. And so what is the interesting thing about quantum? And of course, quantum mechanics is something that's probably hard to explain in a few sentences. But the main idea is that nothing is really for sure in quantum mechanics. So like in real life, you think it's either black or white. In quantum mechanics, it's kind of both. Yeah? And it means there's a state where something can be black and white at the same time. And you can only see if it's black or white if you do a measurement. That's what physics call a measurement. And then you see, okay, it's black or white. But there is a state, an inherent state, where both possibilities are feasible. And now quantum computers can make use of that, because they can compute on this combined state. Yeah? So in a sense, they can compute like on all numbers possible. Yeah? If I give you 4 digits, typically you can just make one number of that. In quantum mechanics, you can make all the numbers that have 4 digits. And quantum computers have this amazing property that somehow they can compute on all these numbers at once. It's not an absolutely correct explanation, but I think it's good enough to see where it goes. So of course this means that they have capabilities of computing that are way beyond the classical computers. And you know there's Moore's law and stuff, so the computing power goes up all the time. But the quantum computers, they follow a different line. So they are much more powerful, and there's no way a classical computer can actually reach this computing power. And so and basically this is one of the things. IBM is building stuff, others are building stuff, and we are not here to hear conspiracy theories, so I have no idea whether NSA already has got a quantum computer or, I don't know. But at least there are already commercial quantum computers available. So it's the question, is it just a question of engineering now? I had for long hoped that there is like a third Heisenberg law that maybe prohibits large quantum computers, but it hasn't turned up yet. So maybe it's simply a question of engineering and we will see large quantum computers. And why does it matter? So this is the next thing. So the guy on the left-hand side, he's called Peter Shor. He's a famous theoretical physicist, but he, actually I think 30 years ago or something like this, he found an algorithm that basically said, if there is a quantum computer of sufficient computing power, I can break all the classical crypto algorithms. And what does it mean? It basically means because of this special capability that I told you about in quantum computers, they can break this existing crypto systems. And that's another thing. Crypto is another lecture. I just give you another 2-sentence intro to that. So the crypto we are talking about, it's something with 2 keys. There's a public key, and as the name already indicates, everyone can know the public key. And there's a private key, and the private key should be kept secret. And typically there should not be an easy way to extract the private key from the public key. But quantum computers can do exactly that. Yeah? I give you the public key that is public, and they can compute the private key, and then break the whole system. And so basically that's what's going to happen, as you see on the right side. So if the quantum computer really exists, it can break all crypto. And what does that mean? Well, it's bad. And why is it bad? Well, there are several things that are bad. Let's maybe start with the most dangerous scenario. So at the moment, of course, you know encryption is a big thing. So databases are encrypted, and the data is secure because it's encrypted. But of course, if someone can break the algorithm, then he can decrypt all this stuff. And why is this so dangerous? Well, because you can move to this store now, decrypt later thing. Yeah? You can simply observe all the communication that you see, and it's encrypted, and at the moment you cannot do anything about this. But if you have sufficient hope that there will be a quantum computer and you can actually buy one, then you can take all the stored stuff and you can decrypt it, which is bad. And of course there's other stuff. Maybe you've heard about digital signatures, and you can digitally sign a contract. And so this is also based on this classical crypto. So if someone can break that, then he can sign a contract in your name and do something with it, something silly, or buy a house, or buy something you never wanted to have. And it's hard for you to prove that you are not actually the one who signed that contract, because he used all the key material that should be secret, only known to you. So it shows basically there is a huge impact in what we see here, and it's bad. It's a reinforcement here acoustically. So what are we going to do about this? Shall we turn off the internet? Not a good choice, probably not a good alternative anyway. So the good thing is there are mathematicians behind that, and mathematicians have a variety of stuff they can deal with. So all the crypto that we are now using comes from something that is called number theory. So it deals with numbers, as it indicates, with prime numbers and stuff. And it used to be what mathematicians call the probably most pure art of mathematics, because the mathematicians were sure this was absolutely useless. So I don't know if you know Carl Friedrich Gauss. He used to be on the 10 Markschein, and there is a famous book. And he did number theory, and he was proud of that because he was sure that there was no application to that. Biggest error in a lifetime, because the whole crypto is built on this. And Shor's algorithm basically can break all this number theory related stuff. But the good thing is mathematicians have a lot more on the table. So there are other mathematical stuff, other mathematical problems you can use to build a public key system. So there is something that is known to everyone, and there is some mathematics that connects this to something that is only known to you. And hopefully this mathematics that is behind that cannot be broken by quantum computers. And so basically the National Institute for Science and Technology, the NIST in the US, has started a competition to find algorithms that are not susceptible to quantum computers. And this is what we now call Postquantum Crypto. So it's a crypto that will be alive even if the quantum computer is here. And this is the current status. And you can see that mathematicians are fond of rather strange acronyms. It's like when you let your software developers find the names for your software. It's not always a good choice. Basically, of course, again, we could talk a lot here about stuff. Here on the right-hand side, you see that there is other mathematics involved. So there is something that is called hash-based. So hash is a hash function, and basically you can build very, very good and very secure signature schemes from hash functions. They are not so suitable for other type of applications. Then there is something which is called code-based. This is classical coding theory. Everyone who had some engineering experience knows what a code is. Basically, it's a way to add some entropy to some information so that you can make sure that you can deal with errors in transmission. You can build crypto out of that. And then there's what is called multivariate. This is systems of equations. Yeah, everyone who went to school and had mathematics and endured mathematics probably remembers equations and systems of equations. You can also build crypto out of that. And then there is lattice-based crypto. Lattices are exactly what you would mention. It's geometric structures, and you can do certain operations on that with high performance. And then there's so-called isogeny-based. That's my favorite. So the classical crypto we are now using is either based on factorization of large numbers or on so-called elliptic curves. Elliptic curves, it's difficult to explain in a few sentences. And isogenies are something that lives beyond elliptic curves. So I once tried to explain to my board what isogenies is. It's very hard if you don't know what elliptic curves is, so it's a very niche thing. But it shows there's a lot of stuff that is being explored right now, but this is also the big challenge. So NIST has been saying for months now, we are going to announce the final candidates, and they haven't moved forward. And why is that? I think because they are not sure that they are making the right move. Because on this right-hand side, behind each of this section of mathematics, of course, there is like 50 or 60 years of research in this mathematics, and now everyone is trying to have an idea. Does this research actually validate the approach that this is good for crypto, or is it actually showing that it's not good for crypto? And one example is, so there is this candidate Rainbow here. We put a question mark behind that because Rainbow was broken a few weeks ago, and it's based on this multivariate stuff. And of course, everyone who knows a little of algebra and stuff knows that solving large equation systems, it's the standard thing you learn when you do numerical mathematics and engineering. And so there is a lot of knowledge. So this is the status. We are moving forward on that, and we hopefully will have a candidate for the new algorithms by end of this year. But no one knows really. But what does it mean? And so, does it matter? Or is this just a dream that mathematicians have been coming up with to make them more important? Probably that's not true. Because just a few weeks ago, beginning of May, this is an executive order that was issued by President Biden. And you can go and look it up on the White House website. And it basically says that, at least for the US, every government system has to be prepared to make the move from the classical crypto to the new crypto. And again, this is not a talk about conspiracies. So either this means that NSA already has got a quantum computer that can break every stuff, or they are sufficiently sure that something is going to come up. But maybe it's simply, if you think about this store now, decrypt later, it's simply a risk management to simply deal with the topic, what do we do with governmental or other confidential data that is safely encrypted now but can be stored and maybe in 20 years be decrypted. So this is just going to show you there is an impact already on the political level, and so we probably have to move forward. But in what direction? And this is, of course, a big topic. Migration of software and systems is always dangerous, almost as dangerous as crossing this bridge. And so basically, it's something that has to be planned. And typically, it cannot be done in a few weeks' time. So it needs a careful approach. And this is, I think, what everyone should take. What everyone should take with them out of this talk. Go check with your people. Did they hear about this? Are they sure they understand what the impact could be? And the people who either develop your software or deliver your software and your systems, are they aware of this? And do they have a way? At the moment, there is no perfect solution. But at least I think what you should ask for is there an awareness within your group, within your company, within your organization that there is something, and also is there an awareness in the world of your suppliers that there is something. Go and ask them and make sure if they don't have the understanding that they get it. Because in the end, it's clear, whatever system you're looking at, migration always means it's going to take time, it's going to be costly, and it's probably affect both your people and maybe even worse, also your customers. So really make sure you start with planning, even if it's not quite sure now technically where you're moving, but you have to probably be prepared to move. And finally, I don't think there's going to be like a cutoff date. So at the moment, most of the research is going into the questions of how can we make systems that are hybrid. In a sense, one part of it is still the old crypto, because that's the way the world is turning around. And the other part is the new crypto. And is there a way to merge this together in like a hybrid system? Yeah, and one way, for example, with encryption it's not so easy. Yeah, with encryption, basically, if you want to be sure, you have to re-encrypt everything with a new algorithm. But for example, with signatures or certificates, you can have like a dual way. You can sign the certificate with an existing algorithm, with a standard algorithm now, and you can also additionally use a new one. And this is, for example, a path that we are following in several research projects, simply to add a robustness to our systems to be like future-proof, because no one knows whether there is a quantum computer or not. But even if there is none, we see that probably most of the systems relying on crypto don't have the agility that they need. And this is probably the biggest takeaway, I hope, from this talk. Go and ask, go and look, go and prepare, and stay happy ever after. Thank you.